Shalom, and thank you for joining me on Healing Streams Reflections again. I'm glad you are with me on this broadcast. The title for today's post is Let's Make Peace. Have you been cheated? Have you been robbed of thousands of dollars sent to a family member or a friend for a destined project? Has your heart been wounded like Esau? Life can bring some bad situations which could lead to being bitter or try to be vengeful. It has happened to all of us, including even myself. We can feel cheated as Esau did. Jacob's prayer in Genesis chapter 32 verse 9 to 11 shows how desperate he was with the thought of meeting his brother Esau. And Jacob prayed. Then Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, the Lord who said to me, return to your country and to your family, I will deal well with you. I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies and of all the truth which you have shown your servant. For I crossed over this Jordan with my staff, and now I've become two companies. That is how desperate Jacob has become as he thought of meeting his brother Esau. That he resorted to praying shows how much faith he had in God. This faith was further strengthened after his encounter with the angel. Jacob and his brother Esau finally met. It is interesting to see Esau's change of heart when the two brothers met again. The bitterness over losing Esau's birthright and blessing, as recorded in Genesis chapter 27, verse 36 to 41. And Esau said, is he not rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these two times. He took away my birthright, and now, look, he has taken away my blessing. And he said, have you not reserved a blessing for me? Then Isaac answered and said to Esau, indeed, I've made him younger, I've made him your master, and all his brethren I've given to him as servants. With grain and wine I've sustained him. What shall I do now for you, my son? And Esau said to his father, have you only one blessing, my father? Bless me also, O my father. And also lift up his voice and wept. Then Esau his father answered and said to him, and Isaac his father answered and said to him, behold, your dwelling shall be of the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. By your sword you shall live, and you shall serve your brother. And it shall come to pass, when you become restless, that you shall break his yoke from your neck. So Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, and I will kill my brother Jacob. the bitterness of losing Esau's birthright and blessing, as recorded in Genesis chapter 27, verse 36 to 41, as I read, seems gone. Contrary to Jacob's fears, Esau received Jacob most warmly, and was not prepared to accept the gift presented to him, if not for his insistence. Esau was content with what he had. Brothers and sisters in the Lord, we must note that when our relationship with God is right, prayer can move any mountains, as James chapter 5 verse 16 encourages us. In a sense, equipped, it is not surprising to see Esau's friendly attitude to Jacob. In Genesis chapter 33 verse 4, then Esau ran to meet him and embraced Jacob affectionately and kissed him. Both of these were in tears. Esau greeted his brother Jacob with a great hug. Imagine how difficult this must have been for a man who once had actually plotted his brother's death. As Genesis chapter 27 verse 41 tells us, so Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I'll kill my brother Jacob. But time away from each other allowed the bitter wounds to heal. With the passing of time, each brother was able to see that their relationship was more important than their real estate. God has not given us a spirit of fear, my brother and my sister. Even Proverbs chapter 28 verse 1 says, the wicked run away when no one is chasing them, but the godly are as bold as lions. Then 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7 says, for God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but of power, love, and self-discipline. Very often what we fear never happens, and it is more advantageous to trust the Lord even in the face of danger than to fear. Jacob was still not at ease with his brother and declined all his offers to assist him on the way. It is clear to assist him on the way. It is clear that Esau had forgiven him, even though Jacob had not apologized for snatching his birthright. We should learn to apologize to people we offend and be ready to accept forgiveness in order to have peace of mind. We should note how respectful Jacob was to his twin brother by frequently referring to him as Lord as he met him. Bowing to the ground 7 times, the sign to a king. Jacob was taking every precaution as he met Esau, hoping to dispel any thoughts of revenge. This showed a new Jacob, different from whom he was before his encounter with God. When Christ is in control of our lives, he makes all things new, as 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17 tells us. No mortal man can overcome the fleshly nature until God has dealt with him. Imagine how difficult this could have been for Esau, who had wanted to kill Jacob for losing his birthright and blessing to him. Again, in Genesis chapter 27, verse 41, Esau declared, So Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father blessed him. And Esau said to his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. We don't have to remain bitter or try to be vengeful. Brothers and sisters in the Lord, beloved of Christ, forgive those who wrong you, as Matthew chapter 5, verse 44 to 48 employs us. The forgiveness and the peaceful reunion between these two brothers were not gifts, motivated, but driven by love of God. Again, the forgiveness and the peaceful reunion between these two brothers were not as a result of gifts that motivated them, but is driven by the love of God. Oh Lord God, give us the strength to love as you did. There is no fear in love, as Genesis chapter 33 verse 12 informs us. But Jacob said to him, my Lord knows that the children are weak, and the flocks and herds which are nursing are with me. And if the men should drive them hard one day, all the flocks will die. Can you imagine Esau and Jacob walking together after many years of struggle and bitterness? We need one another on this life journey to heaven. Harmony is present and precious, as the Bible tells us in Psalm numbered 133, verse 1. It's very, very important for you to understand what the psalmist declared in Psalm numbered 133, verse 1. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Verse 2 says, it is like the precious oil upon the head running down on the beard of Aaron, running down on the edge of his garment. It is like the dew of Hermon, descending upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, life forevermore. It is like cold water on the tongue of a thirsty soul. That is how harmony is present and precious. After a joyful reunion with his brother Esau, who journeyed from Edom, Jacob set up camp in Succoth. Later he moved on to Shechem, where his daughter Dinah was raped, and two of his sons took revenge on the city. It will be interesting to know that Jacob preferred peace and a joyful reunion to any escort his brother could offer. Jacob also understood the nature of the flocks and his children. Though excited at the reconciliation with his brother, he was not ready to lose all he had labored for by going faster than required. Indeed, he was ready to go at a steady pace until they all got to their destination. God stood by his promise to help and protect Jacob. He led him and his family safely to Shechem. He built an altar to appreciate the Lord who protected him. Oh Lord God, when we are surrounded by danger, Lord, teach us to trust you completely. God, help us to end our heavenly race in peace. Thanks for listening and stay blessed. Bye for now.